First of all, it feels like I can't even imagine. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my fitness transformation. So if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get started. So I first just want to start off by saying that everybody's journey is different. Everybody's body is different. And this is one thing that I really had to learn and accept before I started my weight loss and my fitness journey, is to not compare too much with other people, because genetics can play a role in it. Everybody's lifestyle plays a role in it. Everybody's life is just different, and you don't know what's going on in anyone else's life and what their body type is and all of those things. So don't compare yourself to other people. It is definitely possible to get inspiration from others, and of course, just like hear tips and see what has worked for others, but don't compare yourself too much and focus on your journey and what works best for you. I just want to start out by saying that because it really is so important. It's something that I had to learn that really did help me mentally throughout my journey, to just focus on myself and not get too caught up on what my results were compared to other people's, because again, everybody's different. I just want to start out by saying that. But today I just kind of wanted to walk through my fitness transformation and how long it's taken for my body to change the way that it has and to transform, and just kind of give like a little bit of a timeline with some pictures. So I know that it's helpful for others to see, and for me personally, it's been helpful to see others and kind of see like how long results take. And honestly, it's really hard with the internet because so many people lie about how long results take to get. They want to have people buy their products or buy their programs or buy whatever. And so they want people to think that they can get the results quickly. And it is just not something that happens quickly, especially building muscle and transforming your body. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes time. And yeah, I just feel like it's really easy to go on the internet and see someone say that they have a 2-month transformation where they lost 50 pounds. And it's just not realistic. So keep that in mind when you're seeing things online, but definitely you can use other people for inspiration that are being realistic about it. It is something that takes a long time, building muscle and, like I said, burning fat, all of those things, and recomposing your body in general. It takes time. And that's something I've learned. And honestly, even though I knew it, it still is something that I struggle with from time to time, because I'm like, why is this taking so long to see results? Why has it taken as long as it has? But it is sustainable for me, and I am now the strongest I've ever been. I have never felt this good with my body and my health. And I know that it's because I've just stayed consistent and focused on those things and not gotten too caught up on really how fast my body is transforming, because it just has happened along the way. And when I think about it, like, yeah, 3 to 4 years sounds like a long time. First of all, I can't even imagine going back to the lifestyle that I had before. It feels like that was so long ago, but at the same time, it feels like it happened in the blink of an eye, and my change has just happened so quickly, and time has just flown by throughout my journey, because it feels like I just started Weight Watchers the other day. So it is easy to get in your head about results not coming fast enough, but just keep in mind that progress takes time. I definitely saw more changes throughout my weight loss phase much quicker than I have throughout my fitness and muscle building phases. And that's what I expected, but sometimes it just feels even longer than I want it to be. But anyway, I've always struggled with my weight throughout my life. I played volleyball, so I think that first of all, that has helped me to already have some underlying muscle tone, because I was an athlete growing up from middle school all the way throughout college. And I did start weightlifting in college for the first time. And so I did already have some muscle there, even though I didn't maintain it for years. After I graduated college, I just started working and focusing on that. And I was working 3 jobs at once. It pretty much consumed all of my time, and I was not making healthy choices. So I put on a significant amount of weight, and that's when I hit my heaviest weight, which was about 252 pounds. And that was in April of 2020 when I decided to start my weight loss journey. So I was really scared for my health. I knew I needed to make a change. And for the first time in my life, it wasn't about how I looked. It was just about I needed to do this or I was going to end up with diabetes. I thought I was pre-diabetic. I thought I was going to have to start going to the doctor all the time to get things done and checkups and all this stuff. And I thought that my blood pressure was high, which it actually was high. Just a lot of stuff like that, that it just wasn't going the right direction for me. And I was starting to get really scared. So I decided to start Weight Watchers. And in about a year, I lost 70 pounds. I lost the first 50 pounds in 5 months. And I saw changes on my body pretty quickly throughout that 5-month span. It took a while in the beginning, definitely. I think a big part of that was just mental, and I think kind of comparing to my husband's journey, who people were seeing it on him more than me. People weren't noticing at work that I was losing weight. It took like 30 pounds down till anyone really even saw a difference. Whereas with my husband, it was much faster. So my weight loss, it still went faster than the muscle journey, but it also was pretty slow, and it did feel like a long time in the beginning. So for me personally, it took about a month to see the weight loss on my body. I think in the first month I had lost like 15 or so pounds. I had a good first 2 weeks. I was very consistent at first, and honestly, it was a big change because I went from eating fast food multiple times a day to tracking all my meals, weighing out portions, and trying not to get fast food, trying to eat at home and cook. And so that was a big change for me when I first started Weight Watchers. Like I said, I lost the 50 pounds in 5 months, and then after another 6 months, it took me that long to lose the last 20 pounds that I had lost. So after a full year, I had gotten down to 180 pounds. My goal weight was 170. I really wanted to hit that, but I kind of realized maybe that wasn't realistic for me with my height and just my build and how I wanted my lifestyle to be. It just didn't seem sustainable. It seemed too restrictive to keep losing weight. So I was still tracking in weight loss mode, but I wasn't losing. I was plateauing for a long time, and I felt like I was just gonna stay at 180. So I'll show some pictures, and I'll be popping pictures on the screen throughout this, but at 180 pounds, that was the lowest I had gotten. And I was there for a few months. I at that point had already been weightlifting. So when I started my weight loss journey, I didn't want to incorporate any exercise at all. I waited 3 months to do any movement. I just focused on tracking my food and nutrition. But after 3 months, I started rollerblading. Although that wasn't very often, it was just kind of like in parking lots and trying to find smooth places to skate. I wasn't very good, and it took me some practice to get where I'm at today, but that was just a fun way to get moving, and that was the first exercise that I did. And then I started going around the neighborhood, but it started to get cold because it was like November, and that was when I decided to start doing some weightlifting. I really wanted to build muscle. I felt like I had a decent amount of loose skin. It wasn't really as bad as I had expected when I started my weight loss journey, but I still had some skin, especially on my arms, on my back, on my stomach, on my legs. Like there was loose skin, and I just kind of wanted to start to tone it up. So in October, I started doing some like home workouts that weren't really anything, but then in November was when I got a gym membership and I started going to the gym. So I went to Planet Fitness, and I just kind of started out slowly. I used to go really early in the morning so that no one was there because I was really nervous. And I would go and lift weights for, I would say like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what I was doing, and kind of just switch off the muscle group that I was doing each time. So I would do like a leg day, upper body day, leg day, upper body day. So that's what I started out doing in November of 2020. And at that point, I think I was like 190. I hadn't hit 180 yet. But then as I continued through the beginning of the year of 2021, I got down to 180. And that's when I started to kind of take the gym a little more seriously. I was going a few times a week, like I said, and just kind of getting used to it, doing some machines and kind of only staying by like the dumbbell area. I wasn't really doing much. But as I started to get more comfortable there, I started to push myself more, started to use the Smith machine and different machines and more weights and stuff like that, and just get more comfortable and focus more on building more muscle. So when I started doing that, I was 180 pounds and I was just stuck at that weight. I could not change. It seemed like no matter what I did, I would try to mix up what I was eating, and I didn't want to eat less. So I was still, like I said, staying within my weight loss points. But it was like months of that where I just stayed there, and I kind of stopped weighing myself because I was like, you know what, I really just want to focus on the gym. So stepped away from the scale, focused on the gym. I was still tracking, and that's when I started to kind of go up. It was like a pound a month, honestly. It was really slow when it started to creep up, but as I stayed consistent with the gym, I switched over my Weight Watchers app to maintenance points and started tracking for maintenance instead of weight loss. So when I did that, I did get more points. I was able to eat more, and I really focused on just like fueling my body while I was staying active because I really wanted to build muscle. I really wanted to have a lot of protein to help recover and just rebuild that muscle. And so that was my focus. And I continued doing that for a while. So when I started lifting weights at the gym, my body was definitely the smallest it had been since I started my weight loss journey. But again, I wanted to see more definition on my arms. I really wanted to build my legs and my glutes because I honestly, even in volleyball growing up, always have been made fun of for how flat my butt is. And so I wanted to grow my glutes. I wanted to actually prove to myself that I could really build muscle and like push myself to do this. And it has been a longer process than I expected to do that, but I've really stayed consistent with it. I've pushed myself at the gym and I've just continued that for years now. So after a few months of weightlifting, I really didn't see that much of a difference, honestly. I feel like I started to see the most difference in my legs first, but I think that's also because that was my main focus when I went to the gym, was building my legs and building muscle in my legs. It took a few months to start to see a little bit of a change with just like the loose skin in my legs. Out of all the places on my body, that's where I started to see the change the most, with loose skin. I still saw a lot of my arms for a really long time, and my back, I honestly still have some. It's still something that I'm working on and hope to like change and improve as I go. But I definitely saw the change from lifting in my legs first, and it took a few months. It honestly took a few months of staying consistent, because at that point, like I said, I was at my lower weight. And so I figured I would see it sooner, but I really didn't notice much of a difference after the first few months of lifting. And then that's when I started to see a little bit of a change. I feel like then I also even stepped up my protein game a little bit more. I started to have more protein coffees again and really focus on lean meats like ground turkey and ground chicken. And I started to notice more of a difference even in my core. My stomach was then, I feel like, the next place that I started to see like tighten up a little bit more and lose the loose skin. I still, again, have some loose skin in my stomach, and I feel like I carry some weight in my lower belly. Like there's just extra fat there. And so that was another place that it started to like look a little bit smaller, but it's still there, and it still is like something that just over time slowly kind of gets smaller. And so I just kept going with it. Even though I wasn't seeing too much of a difference at the beginning, I just kept with it. I stayed consistent. I really enjoyed the gym. It became like a therapy session for me. It was somewhere where I could go and push myself, something to look forward to in the morning. And I just really stuck with it because I found it so enjoyable, and I did the things that I enjoyed doing there. I think that's a big part of it, because I looked forward to going, because I wasn't going and doing burpees that I didn't look forward to, or like exercises I didn't like doing. I enjoy squatting, so I would do squats multiple times a week, and I would try to incorporate exercises that I actually enjoyed so that I wouldn't dread it. So I really stayed consistent with that. And then that was when I started to see a little bit more progress with my arms, because I kind of slacked on my upper body workouts because, again, I enjoyed the lower body more. So I just like had this point where it kind of hit me, and I was like, okay, I think I could give a little bit more for my upper body workouts. Not even doing more a week. Like I still kept it at 2 usually upper body workouts a week. I would do like a chest shoulder day and then a back and bicep and tricep day. And so I just kind of focused a little bit more on getting serious during those workouts and really pushing myself. And I really started to see a change mostly in my shoulders. And then I feel like my biceps were next that I started to see. My back was one of the places that took the longest to start to see progress. I feel like it took an entire year till I even started to see any definition in my back. And I really did try to stay consistent with it, but it wasn't until I started doing pull-ups and like assisted pull-ups and training to be able to do pull-ups and chin-ups that I saw a lot of change in my back. So that wasn't until I want to say like a year and a half into me weightlifting that I finally started to do that. And then that's when I really started to see changes, but even that took like months of really focusing on pushing myself for those back days. And I just started to get more comfortable trying out more things, and I felt like I was just making more progress working different muscle groups and stuff like that. So as I got more comfortable, I still stayed consistent with it, and then I really started to finally see some progress in my back. But that definitely took a while. It took me about another year after I hit my goal weight. So I want to say it was like March or May of 2022 where I finally started to see a little bit of definition in my stomach more than I had before. So I feel like even though I wasn't super consistent with my ab workouts, I did them multiple times a week, but I also just was doing so many different compound lifts like squatting and pull-ups, and it was starting to really help my overall core. And that's when I started to see more muscles like in my stomach and core area. And again, at this point, I was kind of going up in weight. So at this point I was around 185 and just slowly creeping up to the point where I got to around 190, and I stayed 190 for about a year, even as I continued to build muscle, because I stayed in my maintenance on Weight Watchers, tracking points, and when I would do like my what I eat in a week's calories and stuff, I would stay within maintenance, but I was still building muscle, and it just stayed the same, slightly going up a little bit to the point where I'm at now, which is like 195. That's not what this is about. I'm more just talking about how long it took me to see the changes. And it was honestly a year to see the changes in my core, the changes in my arms, the changes in my back. It really did take a little bit. Like I said, my legs were the first thing that I saw, but that was my main focus when I went to the gym too, so that's partially why. And I was also starting to skate in the summers, and so I feel like skating really helped to kind of of make my legs just like a little bit more smaller and toned, but also they were still getting bigger because I was building muscles. So it was kind of just like they were the same, but less like loose skin and a little bit more like tightened up. And so I really started to notice those differences when I would skate in the summer. That added a little bit extra to it and helped me to get kind of to the point where I'm at today. So now even when I compare throughout the years when I was consistently weightlifting, I've pretty much stayed the same with everything I've done at the gym. I do similar splits, I do similar exercises. I do mix it up and try to do new things every once in a while and kind of change it up, but it helps me to stay consistent just doing the things I enjoy and just pushing myself with higher weights. And so the weights that I use now are definitely much different than 2 or 3 years ago, but it's definitely changed with my body as I've gone, and I have definitely seen the results of building the muscle. I've never been this strong in my life, even as a college athlete. I honestly think about it all the time. Like, I wish I could just go back and play college volleyball again, because I feel like I would have been so much better if I had the muscle that I have now, because I've never had this much muscle and I just feel really strong and healthy overall. So I'm to the point right now where I feel really good about where I'm at, but I still like to push myself at the gym, and I still want to continue to build muscle and see results. I want to continue to build my glutes. I'll show you guys some pictures too of even like my glute differences, even at the same weight. So the first picture is when I had first hit that weight, and that's what my body looked like before I started building muscle. And then after years of consistency at the gym, and I'm not kidding, it is years. I've been doing it now since November 2020, and it is August of 2024. And so I've been lifting weights since then, and it is finally now where I'm like, oh, I actually am starting to see like a little bit of like definition in my glutes and my hamstrings, and like now I am finally seeing the changes. It has taken years to finally see that, and my glute growth has definitely taken the longest out of everything. Like I said, I started with like an inverted butt. I always make jokes about that, but like I had inverted glutes before. They were like so straight. And so I really had to build a lot of muscle to even see any changes. And muscle takes time to build, and it takes eating a lot of protein and focusing on what you're eating, because nutrition is huge when it comes to building muscle and even like maintaining weight loss and everything like that. So anyway, the glute growth took a long time, but it definitely has happened. Like I said, you could see me at the same weight and see the difference in the definition. And honestly, I could just see it now. I'm so glad that I took those before pictures when I first started lifting weights to be able to tell how much of a difference it's been. And that's why I like to post those pictures on Instagram so much, where I show I weighed 190 in 2020, but I weigh 190 now, and this is the difference in how I look. And there is more definition because I've continued to burn fat while building muscle. And so even though the scale has stayed the same or even gone up, I've continued to change my body and the composition of my body because I've built muscle in certain places, burnt fat in certain places, and it's just helped me to transform my body in general. So I hope the pictures help to kind of give you an idea of the timeline and like kind of how my body changed. But I honestly wanted to make this video because I was just like thinking about how long it has taken to finally feel like I've seen results for how consistent I have been. Like, you would think that it would pay off so much faster, but being realistic and being like a sustainable lifestyle, that's just how it goes. And it's so easy to go online, like I said, and just see people saying that it takes them 2 to 3 months. And sometimes maybe people are being even honest about their progress that they've made, but maybe they had the muscle previously built and they kind of had slacked for a while, and then they decided to get on track for a few months and then they saw that difference. It's not going to be the same for everyone. And I even remember that when I'm at the gym and I see a girl that I'm like, okay, so that's like my dream body. Like, I wish I looked like that. And then I start to think like, why can't I look like that? Why don't I look like that? I've been working so hard. Why don't I look like her? But then I remember, well, technically I started at 252 pounds. I started even higher. I was like even further back. Like, I don't know what her story is. Maybe she has always been in shape and this is just her maintaining it. And good for her either way. I'm just saying, like, to compare to someone that I don't know what her background is. I know what my background is. And technically I even started further back with having to lose the weight and then start building the muscle. And my body's different because of that. I carry more loose skin because of that. And so I'm never gonna look like other people. And it's just those things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to not comparing yourself on your fitness journey, because it can be so discouraging. And the most important thing is to just stay consistent and keep going, because the results will come if you do that. It's just like finally hit me. Like, I'm starting to really see the results and feel like I see more of my muscle, and it's just felt really good. But it's something that for years I've been waiting for and been like, why isn't this happening? And it's just been a very slow process. So the worst thing you could do is quit. keep going and just focus on staying consistent, and you will see the changes and results. I saw my weight loss results faster than I saw my fitness and muscle building results, but I feel like that's just normal. And even my weight loss took a couple months to really start to see the changes in my body, because it takes time and consistency for our bodies to change and to change the composition of them. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.